So I'm going to do my best to make this video. There are two dogs who might be making some cameo appearances, and I hope you can hear me okay. So I'm coming on today to talk to you about mugwort, which is Artemisia vulgaris, and to talk to you about our full moon that's coming up on August 28th, and additionally to talk a little bit about the energy of the moon, of the feminine, of the yin aspect of life. So, where shall I begin? I think I'll start with this mugwort that I have here. And I'm going to tell you about where I harvested this from. So there is a town, actually a village, called Nudis, Connecticut. And it's a very special place to many people. It's special to me. So a little history of this place. I grew up in Niantic, Connecticut, named after the Niantics. So growing up, I had a very special connection to that indigenous tribe. And I learned later that their winter home was up in Nudis, Connecticut. So they would take the Connecticut River up to the Salmon River, up into Nudis, and 3 different tribes would winter there. And so 4 years ago, I was redoing my website, and I felt that I wanted the pictures to hold the energy of a place that I loved. So I chose to go to Nudis with my friend Erin, who's a photographer, and we spent the day hiking, and we took all of the pictures for my website there. And so every year since then, we go annually in August to hike and to swim and to just be on the land. It's very special. So 2 days ago, I was there with my friend Erin, and we had a beautiful 4-hour hike. We could hear owls in the woods, and the landscape is just gorgeous there. And at the end of the hike, we swim in the Salmon River, and swimming there this week, you could just feel the current. It wasn't very strong, but it was very soft and beautiful. And on our hike, I decided to harvest some mugwort that I am going to be using in a ceremony that I'm facilitating next Friday on the 28th for the full moon. And on that full moon, we also have a lunar eclipse that night, so it should be a really special time. But going back to the place of location, where I'm holding the fire ceremony and full moon circle is in the town of Niantic, and it's in a place that was very special to me growing up. There's a pond, which the Niantics, that was actually their burial ground. They would bury their loved ones around the pond, and then it leads out into a sandbar. And I would actually sneak out of my house at night and head down there. And when I was there at night and it was quiet, you could actually see deer swimming to the islands, and there were often a couple, like a pair of swans. And I would sit there as a child and young teenager and just commune. And I always felt a special connection to the peoples that had lived there prior to me, the Niantics. Our neighbors and friends actually dug up a lot of pottery, and even one neighbor unearthed human remains, and then they reburied it. So very special land. And so I'm taking the mugwort from Nudis, and I'm going to be using it next Friday, gathering women right in that sacred spot where the sandbar is at the end of our ceremony. So the ceremony will be held at a private location, private property, and then after we'll come over to the sandbar. And it's really special for me now, later in life, to return to that area to facilitate ceremony, and especially at these beautiful times of the year. And as a child, my absolute favorite time to go out to that sandbar was the full moon of August. And we actually had 2 full moons in August this year. So a little bit more about mugwort. and why this plant. So mugwort has several names. So Artemisia vulgaris, the goddess Artemis, that's what she's named after, this plant, and this herb is named after. All right, we might have some barking coming. It's okay. And the reason why is if you look at the plant, I actually have a plant right behind this. Hold on, let me grab some. Here we go. So some of the leaves on this side are green, and on the back side they're silver, and they reflect the moon. So that was why she was named, you know, after Artemis. She's also, this is also known as the lady's herb, or the lady's plant, because it has been used medicinally for many years to help women regulate their hormones, and uterine health, and in a variety of different ways. And so I do want to just caution, though, please do not ingest this without medical supervision. It can be very harmful to women who are pregnant, so please do not ingest it. If you are pregnant, be very careful with it. It is a plant to be respected. It's also known as the plant of dreams, and some people will make a sachet with it, put it under their pillows. Some people brew it into a tea, and then will drink it before bedtime. But again, it's something to be really careful with, because it can have very strong properties, induce lucid dreaming. I've never tried it, but that's what people say. I am going to be using it as a sage and a smudge. So it is very similar, has similar properties to white sage. So I'll be using it in the fire ceremony for clearing, cleansing, protection, and as a smudge and sage, which is really beautiful. Okay. So another thing I just want to say about this full moon coming up, it's actually the bookend to a new moon that we had on August 1st, I believe it was, 2 weeks ago. And we have some power tools. I hope you can't hear them. The power tools are happening right now. It's okay. And that was a new moon solar eclipse. So people even traveled at this time because of this. The solar eclipse was so special. And so 2 weeks later, we're having the full moon lunar eclipse. I have some bugs here. And so this 2-week period is a really special time that we can use in our lives to shed and to clear and to let go of anything that just isn't fitting anymore, like a sweater that doesn't fit anymore, and just kind of time to shed that, to let that go, or something that just doesn't feel that's serving us anymore. And, you know, it's not always easy to let go of things, but as we do, we're creating space for new things to come, unknown blessings already on their way. And we're also heading into, you know, the fall season, which is definitely a season of allowing things to fall away. That's part of their process, and that's what simply needs to happen. All right. So my third piece that I want to talk about before we do a little meditation here, I hope the mosquitoes don't get me too bad. Oh, there's Harlow, and Peyton is around as well. Is the quality of the yin to the yang, or the feminine to the masculine, or the sun to the moon, the fire to the water. So when I talk about feminine qualities or feminine energy, it's not specific to women, because as men and as women, we hold both qualities of the masculine and the feminine. And we need both, and we need to cultivate both. They're both very important. However, we live in a patriarchal society here in America, and we can tend to be very out of balance. We definitely have a prioritization on the masculine energy, which is very linear, getting things done, accomplishing things. Again, super useful, super valuable, but if we're too much in that energy, we're out of balance. And so a lot of times we can feel guilty or bad for slowing down. We're not always connected to nature. We value so much in our society, you know, activities and advancements that move us away from nature. One would be light pollution, sound pollution, being on our screens all the time. And so giving ourselves permission, whether we're man or woman, to slow down, to be in nature, to go into the darkness, to go into the unknown, the unpredictable, not where things are always mapped out and lined up. It can be frightening, and we can feel, again, very guilty for making that time. I should be doing this, but my body's asking for something different, right? And so in a lot of the women's work that I do, there's a real craving to return to the feminine aspect of our lives. And again, we need the masculine aspect, but because we've been so out of balance in our culture and our society, it's hard sometimes to get there. So I will say that the feminine and that yin energy is a place of, rather than making things happen, it's a place of allowing things to sort of unfold, allowing things to be. I don't know if you've ever had a really good sleep and you really rest really well, and then you wake up and the idea you needed, or the answer you needed, or the guidance or the direction you needed is there. And it's sometimes in the slowing down and the letting ourselves really rest and the taking the vacation and the play that the clarity comes. And I think for so many of us that can be so lacking and so needed. I taught creative writing for many years, and I used to use this quote by Marie Forleo that says that when you get up in the morning, create before you consume. So if you wake up in the morning and you look at your phone, you're consuming, and we're so inundated with ideas everywhere we go, which can be wonderful, but we can't even hear ourselves think. We can't even hear what we want, what our body wants, or what our own creative thoughts are. And creativity is a process of receptivity. So the creative ideas come when we allow ourselves to really listen, to really be, and allow those ideas to come in. And you have to really surrender. It's a release of control in that process. But for any creative process, there is a component of coming into the unknown, coming into the place of nothingness, of stillness, and then being open to receive what will come. So in the women's work I do, in the women's circling that I do, a lot of times people think, well, I'm a little nervous to come. I don't know what to say. Like many times people think, is it going to be a class? Am I going to be learning something? And it's not structured that way. That women's work is not structured in that way. It's more of a place of allowing, and there's a lot of silence. There's a lot of listening, a practice of reverence, a practice of being with sisters, a practice of being with nature, and from there, allowing what's going to come. So again, very different from what we do in our everyday lives. So I thought we would practice a little bit of that today to give you a little flavor to just come into this moment. And so wherever you're at, if you want to come to a comfortable seat, if you want to pause the video and go outside somewhere, and just come into a space where you won't be disturbed, and maybe having a soft focus on something around you, a candle, nature around you, or closing the eyes to bring the awareness inside. So just joining me here in a comfortable seat. And as you're here, just notice any sounds around you, maybe in the room that you're in, outside of the room that you're in the nature where you are. And then start to slow the breath. Relax the muscles in the face, relax the jaw, relax the mouth. And you might even place your hands on your belly and just allow the belly to be supple. So as you inhale, let that belly puff out into your palms. And then exhale without drawing the navel back in. And at the bottom of the exhale, empty a little more, and then the navel will come in without force. So just continue with that breath. And again, in our culture, we're not used to allowing this part of the body to be supple, the belly to be supple. We've come from some remnants from the 80s where it was like suck it in and walk around with a very tight abdomen, and people had all kinds of digestive issues and problems due to that. It's healthy for the body to be strong, but also to be supple. So really let that belly be soft. When we practice yoga, we want actually what's called a soft belly. Okay, so just allowing the belly to be soft. And maybe placing a hand on your heart and one on the belly and just checking in with yourself. And just notice how you've been in your own life in relation to the real fiery, linear side of yourself and the more soft light of the moon, feminine, watery side of yourself. Whether you're a man or a woman, we have both qualities. Notice if there's any fatigue in the body, any tender places, any places that have a lot of holding. And then just send your breath into those places. Then you can release the hands either up for receiving or down for grounding. You might try out both. Notice the temperature of the air on your skin. And in this time between midsummer and the autumn equinox, the fall equinox, what is it in your life that is falling away? Maybe it's falling away through your intention. Maybe it's falling away through a tight grip. And you're like, no. Either's fine, just notice. I've definitely had my fair share of tight gripping. And as you breathe here, just watching, seeing what might be leaving to free up space for something unknown, something better than you could possibly imagine. Notice the season. I noticed this morning there were a few leaves around, fall leaves, the weather. And then pausing here to think of a quality, a feeling that you would like more of in your life. A sensation. And then just imagining that feeling as if it's already here in abundance, whatever that feeling or sensation is. Oh, I have a slug next to me. I always pay attention to see if they have a certain meaning. You can look up slug later. Just feeling into and noticing how it feels to have more of that quality. And then breathing that through all of your body, maybe through your back, through your ribs, maybe rounding the spine a little bit, and then arching the spine a little bit, maybe just pressing the arms out, taking the arms up, maybe rolling the head a little, creating some space in your body too. We'll bring our palms together, heart center, Namaskar Mudra. And I invite you to set an intention as we close out the summer, something that you'll focus on for you. And we'll close this meditation with a sound of Om. Take a deep inhale. Om. Bow your head to your heart, and then just lifting the head. Maybe take a look around, bring your hands back down. So I want to let you know about 2 events that I have coming up. So the first is the Full Moon Fire ceremony, which will be held in Connecticut on the 28th. I think it's 6:30 p.m. And you can find that either on my website. Peyton, come here. Either on my website, which is bravedancing.com, or on the Zen and Now webpage, which is a beautiful yoga studio that my friend Lisa owns, and that in-person circle is through her studio, so you can check that there. I also offer twice a year a women's program, and it's for 12 weeks. And it is online. In the fall program is going to meet on Tuesday nights from 7 to 8:30 p.m. Women join from all over the country and some different parts of the world. And it's really nice to have a very small group of women to journey with from your home. Whoa. The dogs are playing over a 12-week period of time. Peyton, come here. You want to help me with this? Okay. So that will begin on on September 15th, and I have an early bird pricing for that program, which runs through August 28th. So again, you can find that on my website, bravedancing.com, and I'll put some links below. And is there anything else we want to share? Isn't she cute? She's very sweet. I think that's it. So wishing you a really wonderful end of summer, and thanks for your time.